And we are live. Welcome, Boondocker and Brawler Talkers. How y'all doing tonight? Well, work is done, and as soon as I figure out my phone the way I want to put it and how I want to film it, I will get this thing popping. If you're new to the channel, see, y'all like this better? But fuck. Nah, I like it the other way. I ain't got to lean back and forth. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just going to sit like this right here. Okay. So, how y'all doing today? If you're new to the channel, we talk about MTG, we talk about fighting on here, we talk about pretty much about everything. Um, I am the host, I guess you could say, Hurricane.Shane, aka Battle Cat. Most of y'all, for the most part, until this gets out there a little bit, you already know me. You already know what I'm about. And today, for right now, for the moment, I guess, until people jump on here and we can switch subjects, then y'all can ask any kind of questions I want to, or change subjects to whatever, and we'll go that route and we'll talk about that. But right now, I was going to talk about the pre-release coming up this weekend. What do y'all think about Allegiance? Allegiance so far, what do y'all think about it? In my personal opinion, this is the most excited I have been with a pre-release in a very long time. I can remember the actual. Sorry, bleeding a little bit. Doing some work in here, and you know how you take a hammer and you miss something, and you end up with your pinky. Yeah, that's what happened, a little boo boo. But anyway, uh, so yeah, this is the most excited I've been about a pre-release in a very long time. My LGS is actually relatively new. They opened up really close to me. At first, it was about a 30-minute drive to my LGS, and they actually quit playing Standard there for a long period of time, and they was playing Commander and Yu-Gi-Oh! Trust me, I love Yu-Gi-Oh! I grew up on Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, that was the thing back then, man. I can remember when the first decks come out, and I got the Yugi starter deck, and my buddy Derek got the Blue Eyes White Dragon starter deck, and we was like playing for like 12 hours straight that night. It was insane. But the rules have got so complex and complicated by now, I cannot keep up with it. So I play casual play for Yu-Gi-Oh, and that's it. But competitively, I play Magic. I play Magic competitively, and I am very competitive when it comes to it. So this pre-release, I plan on winning. But I want to hear y'all's opinions on what guild are y'all most excited about? What mechanic are y'all most excited about? What what effect is this going to have on the standard environment? Is it going to have any effect on the modern environment? I do play modern. I do enjoy playing modern and standard, but I do not play anything else other than that. Modern, standard, well, Pauper. I play Pauper, and I guess casual if you want to count that too. But yeah, Pauper, casual, standard, but standard is mostly my lane of expertise. I love standard. But there's actually a deck I'm on want to take y'all through. The other day I did a standard deck tech on a kind of like a gutter electro burn deck that I've come up with. There is a version that you can do in modern that is really sick. That is taking like Rabble Master and Subterranean Scout. Subterranean Scout's a 2-drop when it comes into play. Target power creature with 2 or less cannot be blocked this turn. So you target your Rabble Master, right? And you got like 4 goblins out, 5 goblins out. Since you target it when it was below 2, it cannot be blocked. You swing in with it, it gets ramped up by all these goblins, or you can do it on a pile driver too. And then you Timber Battle Rage it. And that is just a sick move that you can do, and that goes along with the Skirt Prospectors and ramping into Banefires and other, cool stuff too. So that's awesome. But back to Allegiance. Allegiance, I am pumped about Orzhov. Orzhov is where I'm at. Black White is what I like to play. I've always enjoyed Black White. My favorite deck I've actually ever built was the Black White Ally deck with Glacial Healer, Drana, all that good stuff, to where it was I was a mono red player for such a long time, and being able to set up combos and just slowly drain your opponent down and there's Soren back then. Soren was such an awesome card back then. Oh man, it was a 6 drop. Just it was nasty, nasty, nasty card. Loved it. But yeah, so it was I'm so pumped about the fact that Black White and this Afterlife ability. The Afterlife ability I'm really excited about. In my personal opinion, it is the best mechanic, I think, of the group. Gruul will probably come in at number 2. Um, then probably Spectacle, I guess, uh, would jump in there. Then Adapt, and then the last one, which is just, I don't even know if you can call it a mechanic, really. I mean, as a control player, you do not want to be casting instants on your turn, so I really don't get that mechanic at all. But we'll see where it goes. There's actually some fun little twists and turns that you can do in it. But yeah, so Orzhov, I plan on playing. I think that the Afterlife ability is going to go well within there if I'm able to build around that deck. I'm thinking about splashing in, if at all possible, blue. If I have to run a tricolor deck, it's going to be probably splashed with a little bit of blue, just because there's some really good counter spells and kill spells that you can run with the white, blue, and everything like that. So, but all the spoilers are out, so everybody's got their picks. I think there's going to be a lot of Gruul players, a lot of aggressive decks that are going to come out and really try to win the game very quickly. And that's when I think the Afterlife ability is going to play a big role into stalling the board until you can set up to where you gain enough card advantage, you gain enough board presence to be able to push the pressure and put it on these people, and then overtake the game. Now that's what my thoughts are. Uh, and like I said, the last time I think I played a pre-release was Kaladesh, I believe. Yeah. God, wow, Kaladesh was the last pre-release I was actually into. Um, so yeah, that is crazy to sit there and think about. But as far as the change to standard that this is going to bring outside of just the pre-release, tokens is going to be a huge, huge role in this too now, because I mean they're already a big thing, but Selesny and all this other stuff. But you got so many different ways with the adaptive mechanics. I think Merfolk are going to make a huge comeback, and just really just I think they're going to be they're going to be a top tier deck. I really do think that. I'm making a bold statement with that, but they have the potential to be in the top tier decks. Of course you're going to have your mono red or big red. That's going to be running. You're going to have your Golgari mid range that's going to be running. And stuff like that. So they're of course going to be the top tier decks, but I think it's going to be for the first couple of weeks. It's going to be a lot of people trying to interact with these new cards, just like every pre-release. After every pre-release, the first week to 2 weeks, usually you go, if you want to win the FNMs or any kind of tournaments they have after that, you want to run decks that are low to the ground and just really fast and dealing a lot of damage and stuff. So that's what I plan on doing. Is actually I'm going this Friday. I will be playing the pre-release, but I'm also going to be playing in the tournament before the pre-release, and I know what everybody else is going to be running, and I thought about running my Drakes just because I took it to a modern tournament, and like I said, this LGS they go to just kind of opened up. They're like 10 minutes away, 13 minutes away from my house. Usually we'll have 12 to 24 people show up, and a lot of them run very wild and crazy decks that you don't really expect, like the Pirates. I've seen a couple people run Pirates up there that was doing some crazy stuff. Rebel to Riches. They was trying to get all that out and actually seen it work once or twice. So that was kind of crazy. But the top ones that's always at the top are Golgari, and you see the Carnage Tyrants, and then you see Teferi decks, and that's where I decided I wasn't going to run my Drakes. And my Drakes consist of is just running all 8 Drakes, Enigma Drakes, Crackling Drakes, a bunch of spells. I actually got, let's see, I do. I do actually have it wrote down up here. Actually, this is my little board that I have up here, to where the deck that I'm going to play that week, or anything like that, I'll write down the cards that I have, the decks I think I'll be going against, the strategy guide that I think I'll have to go against these decks, and what I need to do on my sideboarding. And just to give a quick rundown of my Drake's deck, I do run the Goblin Electromancers, which I've seen a lot of people run this deck without them. I personally like running it with them, but it's another body on the board. It makes some of these spells that we have for draw spells, especially, to it costs less and everything like that. And if people are running burn, they burn off the Electromancers before they get their Drakes, before we get our Drakes out. So that's always good. But I run 4 Electromancers, 4 Enigma Drakes, 4 Crackling Drakes, and 2 Murmuring Mystics. That is all the creatures I run in that deck. And the Murmuring Mystics surprisingly have pulled out quite a few games for me. I thought about actually adding a third one in. It's just the ramp, going into it. It just didn't flow right, and 2 was a number I settled on. It felt real good, so I ran them. So I mean, that's all the creatures I ran. And as far as spells go, of course, you got 4 ops. You run 4 shocks, 4 wizard. Yeah, let's see. Did I run 4 wizard lightning? I might run 3. Yeah, I run 3 wizard lightning instead of 4. Running 4 shocks, 3 wizard lightning, 2 dive downs. 2 dive downs are in my main board because, of course, that is to protect our Drakes. 1 maximized velocity. That is just to, when your opponent's tapped down and you drop one of your Drakes out and it's already a 17 or a 18, you want to go ahead and just blast them. So you run that 1 copy and actually got another copy in the sideboard at maximum velocity. You run it, give it haste, boom, slam them with some just nastiness on damage, and then 1 burn spell, they're done. 2 Chemist Store's Insight. Actually run 1 Ionize, 1 Wizard Retort, and 1 Charter Course. I know that seems weird, but I mean, right now you cannot find Charter Course anywhere in any of the LGSs around here. And I don't go online and order cards. I just kind of just pick up what I pick up, and I'm not a net decker. I don't go online and pick out a deck and design it exactly how these pros design their decks. I want to do something different. I want to be able to project my own thoughts into it and put my own spin on it. So 1 Charter Course, 1 Lava Coil, yet again, very hard to find. Essence Scatter, Senator Sabotage, and Quasi Duplicate. That is something that I actually got another one on the sideboard that is very fun. You can copy your Drakes. You can jump in and put it on a Murmuring Mystic. All of a sudden you got 2 Mystics out, and then everything just gets out of hand with the birds flying around. Just, you can poke them in the face for 1 damage each turn. A copy of Mission Briefing, and Planeswalker Row. So I mean, I don't run Nib Mizzet because, yet again, you cannot find them right now. It is ridiculous to find them right now, and that includes the Shocklands too. Surprisingly, I don't run Shocklands in this, people. That is crazy. I don't know how in the world I managed to do as well as I did in these tournaments without a lot of these cards, but surprisingly, it worked. I keep a balance to where in my main deck, to where I'm burning and slight countering. It's more of an aggressive, going to the face with some of it, burning off the creatures, stalling until I get my Drakes out, and even with like cards like Ionize, it's still countering and doing damage. Um, I got a lot of beacon. I got a full set of beacon bolts in my sideboard. Just for more creature removal, more essence scatters, more negates. For a more control style build if I need to switch up my game plan. And yeah, so I mean, it's nothing too fancy, but it works. But the cards that I needed for this is, of course, I want to run 2 Niv Mizzet in this deck, just because Niv Mizzet is such an awesome card. It's doing crazy stuff right now on the tour and everything like that, and just the 4 shocklands, and yeah, then I'm set on that. I like the build the way it runs. It's really smooth. It's real simple. Even without the shocklands, I can still, yeah, I got checklands. I got all the checklands in there. So I mean, I'm not completely sitting, against the wall, and I got a pretty good balance in between red and blue to where, I'm not running into too many mana problems. So, but yeah, that's the Drake list right there, and it's actually working relatively well. But I decided to go with my Vamp deck that I got built, just because I've not seen a whole lot of it. I've seen, of course, the White Weenie decks being run up there a little bit off and on, and Chain Whirler just runs right through them. Yes, I know I'm using something that looks like a water cooler for a spit bottle. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. But yeah, I am going to be running the old Vamp deck that I have built, and I built this when Exelon come out, and I wanted synergy, and I just God, I love this deck. It's very cool. But let me try this out right here real quick, just to kind of show you some of the stuff going on with it. I chose to run the murders. There's a lot of other better removal in there, but I picked these up after I won. I think it was one of these little Friday night events, and you got a couple of copies of these. I think full playset of them, I believe. Now I don't run a full playset in this. I think I only run 2, and I think I run 2 cast downs instead, because cast down is much better removal. But hey, somebody actually jumped on here after 17 minutes. Hey, what's going on, whoever you are? We're just sitting around chatting, talking, changing subjects at any given moment. And they left, so they didn't care. But, yeah, so we're sticking low to the ground. And this one, yet again, cards like this right here, Forerunner. It is just a simple little 3-drop guy that comes in. He grabs a vampire out of your deck. Usually, you want to go for your Legion's Lieutenant and grab him out, and or bish it up with a Bloodstain to finish it off. You got a bunch of creatures on board, or a Sanctum Seeker if you're wanting to swing and do a lot of damage and get that done. I run 3 of him in there. 4 Sky March. Only run 1 Marvin Payne Dust Apostle, and that is just another token generator. 4 Call to the Feast, 2 Queen's Commissions. And most of these are full. That's the reason why I love this deck, because the majority of the cards I have in here are full, and I don't know, I like showing off with my full stuff. Yay. But yeah, just token generate, and yes, people will say you will get knocked down by a Chain Whirler, but I mean, you run, of course, your 4 copies of Danto Vanguard, probably the best card from Exelon, in my opinion, by far. The best card in Exelon. Pay 4 life, makes him indestructible. When he swings, he gets +2 until the end of turn. I mean, just value on top of value. 2 Sanctum Seekers, which is, whenever a vampire you control attacks, each one loses a life, you gain 1 life. And 3 Radiant Destinies, and that's what protects this deck from cards like Chain Whirler. Once you provide the board presence, and you're able to, establish that board presence. And, we got enough stuff to pin down stuff like, let's see, we got the murders, we got the cast downs, we got sillaways. I mean, we got enough stuff to pin things down, and we got enough token generation like Legion's Landing, Queen's Commission, Call to the Feast, but also simple stuff like this that you don't really see too many people run in these event decks is Artillery Flow. Now, this is a 3-drop that it doesn't look like much, and people kind of pass it over. Each opponent discards 2 cards if you control a vampire, which we are always going to control a vampire. And they lose 2 life and we gain 2 life, which is, value. Especially if you're playing against a control deck. If you're taking away cards from them, that is not good for that guy. And if you're running against an aggressive deck, you take away their cards, that's especially not good for them. So, that's awesome. And then, once we build up our board pressure and everything like that, you drop this in there, Pride of Conquerors, which if you get City's Blessing, it gives all your creatures +2, +2. I mean, so it's a big finisher at the end of the late game if you got a big board out and everything like that. And like I said, it's very simple, but it gets around a lot of stuff, and we run Sovereign's Bite in there too. And the sideboard is complete with, just simple stuff to swap in and out with, to go with what we're playing against. If we're going against more control, of course, we take out all this stuff that pins down creatures, and we stick in stuff that takes out enchantments, and stuff like that. So, I'll give y'all a breakdown of that full deck another day. That's actually another kind of budget-built deck, and we'll do that another day. But I just want to jump on here. I had a rough go here for the past couple hours, and I just need to kind of clear my head and get on here and talk. Even if it's to myself, and nobody watches this, that's cool. It's all fine and good. I just enjoy talking about certain things, and I'm interested in what people think about certain things. And if you're new to the channel, please hit the sub button. It helps out. Don't be afraid to ask questions on here. I'm open pretty much to anything to talk about. So, like I said, we do a lot of stuff on this channel. I'm actually hoping to do some more jiu-jitsu videos coming up, boxing videos coming up, and eventually once we hit 100 subs, if we ever do, which we probably won't, but if we ever actually do with this crap phone that I have and my goofy rednecky way of doing stuff, if we ever accidentally hit 100 subs, that's when I'm dropping my 18 vid boondocking brawler battle that we had over this time frame that I was out of YouTube that we had. And it was fun. It was yes, there was blood involved. There was, bad moods and cussing out people and all this other stuff. But it was still awesome and fun. We set up divisions. We had little guys going against bigger dudes. So we just had old feuds that needed to be settled, and they get out there and they brawl, they shake hands afterwards like it needs to be done and stuff like that, instead of plotting behind people's back and stabbing them in the back or shooting them or anything else. You just go out there, put them in some MMA gloves and let them slug it out, and then at the end of it they earn the respect of the other person, hopefully, and shake each other's hand at the end of it. But until then, guys, I'm sorry if I come off as boring or anything like that. But, this is just how I am. I enjoy coming on here, regardless of the hate or anything else. I do a lot of stuff. And, like I said, just jump on here. I am who I am. I'll say what I say. And a lot of y'all are not going to like it. Some of you might. So, sub on in and enjoy the fun. That's what we're here to do. We're here to have fun. Hopefully it's entertaining. If nothing else, you can get a laugh out of making fun of me. A lot of people do. So it's cool. But until then, guys, I'll probably throw up another video here in a second about a completely different subject. But until then, Boondockers, I am